What makes a mystery perfect? Is it one that's never solved, or one that's solved but leaves more questions than answers? December 1st, 1948. A man dies on Somerton Beach in Australia. No ID, no cause of death, no witnesses. For 75 years this case had everything. A secret code that nobody could crack. A mysterious woman who refused to talk. Theories involving spies, poison and murder. DNA technology that couldn't identify him. Until 2022. After 3/4 of a century, genealogists finally put a name to the body. Charles Webb. Case closed. Right? Wrong. Because even though we know his name now, we still don't know how he died, why he was on that beach, what the code means, why someone erased his identity, what his real connection to Jessica Thomson was. Some mysteries get solved, some stay buried forever, and some, like the Somerton Man, give you just enough answers to make you realize how many questions are left. So is this a perfect mystery? You tell me. This is the story of the man they called Somerton Man for 75 years, and the story of how one answer led to 100 more questions. Adelaide, Australia, December 1st, 1948, 6:30 a.m. Two men were taking their morning walk along Somerton Beach. It was one of Adelaide's most popular beaches. They noticed a man leaning against the seawall. He was wearing a suit and tie, his head tilted back, eyes closed. Strange place for a nap, but hey, maybe he's drunk. They kept walking. 7 p.m. 12 hours passed. The man was still there in the same position. John Lyons and his wife were taking an evening stroll when they noticed him. Something was wrong. He was too still. His wife approached and touched his shoulder. He was cold. Stone cold. Police were cold. When they arrived at the body, the first thing they noticed, the man's suit was expensive, but his shoes were worn. Like he'd been on a long journey. No wallet. No ID, empty pockets. Wait, not empty. In his pocket was a small ticket from Adelaide railway station, also some American brand chewing gum, a British-made comb, and a small scrap of paper. On the paper, 2 words, Tamam Shud, Persian for finished or ended. Police took the body to Adelaide mortuary. An autopsy was performed. Autopsy findings: age 40 to 45 years old, height 5 feet 11 inches, 180 centimeters, weight 175 pounds, 80 kilograms, body type athletic, well-built hands and nails, clean, not a manual laborer. Last meal: pasty, British meat pie. Stomach contents: half-digested pasty. Cause of death unknown. Dr. John Barclay Bennett performed the autopsy. His report said there's congestion in his stomach and intestines. This suggests poisoning, but we couldn't detect any known poison. No signs of heart attack, no drowning, no external trauma. Another interesting detail: the man's calves were unusually developed, like he regularly walked on his toes. A dancer, an athlete, and the strangest part, all clothing labels had been cut out. Suit, shirt, shoes. Everything had the labels removed. Someone didn't want this man identified. Police took his fingerprints and entered them into records. They searched all of Australia's databases. No match. They sent them to England. No match. They sent them to America. No match. This man didn't exist on Earth. At least not in the records. That small scrap of paper, Tamam Shud, was the investigation's first real clue. Police realized it had been torn from a book. But which book? A librarian identified it. Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, a 12th century Persian poetry book translated into English by Edward Fitzgerald. Tamam Shud were the last 2 words on the last page of this book, but police couldn't find the book. It wasn't on the man. It wasn't in any homes because he had no home. It wasn't in the bus station locker. The book had vanished. December 6th, 1948, 5 days later, a man named Ronald Francis, living in Adelaide, read the story in the newspaper. He remembered finding a book in his car's backseat a few days earlier. He didn't know where it came from. He took the book and brought it to police. Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, a rare edition. The last page was torn out. Police immediately knew this was the book the paper scrap in the corpse's pocket came from. But here's the real shock. On the book's back cover, something was written in pencil. 5 lines of letters, a code, but what kind? And right below it, a phone number, Adelaide area code. Police traced the phone number. Jessica Jo Thomson, a 27-year-old nurse. She lived in Glenelg, right near Somerton Beach. When detectives knocked on her door, Jessica was visibly nervous. "Do you know this man?" they asked, showing her the photo. Jessica stared at the photo for a long time. Her color drained. She had to sit down in a chair. "No," she said, "I've never seen him." But police knew she was lying. Her body language was clear. "Does this book look familiar to you?" Jessica hesitated. "I gave a copy of the Rubaiyat to a man in 1945, an officer named Alf Boxall, but I think he's still alive." Police found Boxall. He was alive, and he still had the book Jessica gave him, so the dead man was someone else. But Jessica's phone number was in his book. Jessica refused to talk. "I have nothing more to say," she said, and closed the door. That secret went to the grave with her when she died in 2007. Police released the code to the world. Can anyone break this? Naval intelligence tried, failed. Cryptographers tried, failed. Amateur sleuths, professional code breakers, university professors, all failed. Some theories. Theory 1, initial letter code. Maybe each letter is the first letter of a word. But which words? Theory 2, location marker. Maybe the code indicates a location. Theory 3, love letter. Maybe it's a private message to Jessica. Theory 4, espionage code. Maybe it's Cold War encrypted communication. 75 years later, the code remains unbroken. 1948 was one of the most tense years of the Cold War. Australia was in a strategic position. Near Adelaide was Woomera, a major weapons testing facility. Both British and American governments were conducting secret experiments there. There were known Soviet spies in Australia at the time. The Somerton Man's characteristics resembled an agent. Identity erased, no labels. Carrying encrypted code suspected poisoning. Classic espionage, death. Strategic location, near Woomera. But there was a problem. When his identity was found in 2022, it turned out he was Charles Webb, an electrical engineer from Melbourne. No connection to espionage. So was he a spy? Or was someone trying to make him look like one? Over the years, dozens of people claim to have identified the Somerton Man. 1949, a woman claimed he was her ex-husband. He wasn't. 1950s, a man from Melbourne said he was his missing brother. There was no DNA testing back then. It was wrong. 2009, a man living in the US said online, "This is my grandfather." DNA didn't match. Every false lead made big headlines in the media. Then it turned out to be wrong, and the mystery deepened. In the 2000s, modern technology came into play. 2009, University of Adelaide tried to extract DNA from the corpse's hair. Failed. It was too degraded. 2011, facial reconstruction was done. A 3D model was created of what the man looked like. But still, nobody recognized him. 2018, genealogy databases like 23andMe, Ancestry.com started becoming popular. Maybe relatives could be found? July 22, 2022. Genealogy researcher Colleen Fitzpatrick and geneticist Derek Abbott made the big announcement. The Somerton Man's name is Charles Carl Webb. They found it through DNA analysis. By tracing distant relatives' family trees, they solved the identity. Charles Webb, born November 16, 1905, Melbourne occupation, electrical engineer, factory foreman, married. Dorothy Doff Robertson, married 1930, divorced. 1940, children, had one son. Finally, there was a name. But did it bring answers? Even though we found Charles Webb's identity, fundamental questions remained unanswered. 1. How did he die? Was he poisoned? Suicide? Murder? Natural causes? 2. What was he doing in Adelaide? He lived in Melbourne. Why did he come to Somerton? 3. What was his connection to Jessica Thomson? Her phone number was in his book. Did he know her? Were they lovers? 4. What does the code mean, still not broken? 5. Why did someone erase his identity? Why were all the labels removed? Theory: Charles Webb committed suicide. Evidence: Tamam Shud, finished. Like a suicide note, signs of poisoning, identity concealment, shame, protecting family. Problem: no poison detected, no suicide note. Why choose Somerton? Probability 30%. Theory: Charles Webb was killed. Evidence: suspected poisoning, identity erased. Killer hid identity. Jessica Thomson connection, maybe love triangle. Problem: motive unclear, no witnesses, no evidence. Probability 40%. Theory: Charles Webb got mixed up with spies. Evidence: encrypted code, proximity to Woomera weapons facility 1948 equals Cold War peak electrical engineer, valuable information. Problem: no espionage connection proven. 2022 identity debunked spy story. Probability 15%. Theory: Webb died of a heart attack. The rest is coincidence. Evidence: he was 43 years old. Stress: divorced. Unemployed. Problem: why were labels removed? What's the code? Jessica connection. Probability 15%. After looking at 75 years of evidence, I think the most likely scenario is Charles Webb was having a forbidden affair with Jessica Thomson. Jessica was married. Webb would come from Melbourne to see her. The book was from her. Maybe not the 1945 Rubaiyat Jessica gave to Boxall, but another copy. The code? Private messages, maybe love letters, encrypted to hide from her husband. Death. Suicide. When Jessica left him, Webb collapsed. He came to Somerton. Jessica lived nearby, took poison, something undetectable, maybe herbal, and died on the beach. Identity erasure to protect Jessica from scandal. He removed the labels himself. This theory explains everything. Jessica's reaction, guilt, the code, private messages, death location near Jessica's home, identity erasure, preventing scandal. But we can't prove it, never will. In 2022, AI and modern cryptography took interest in the code. none succeeded. Maybe the code isn't a real cipher, maybe it's just random letters, maybe Webb's gibberish, or maybe there really is a message in it and we'll never know. Now 75 years later, let's ask, is the Somerton Man a perfect mystery? If it's a perfect mystery, unsolved for 75 years, name found but cause of death not found, code still unbroken, people still debating, yes, this is a perfect mystery because it gave us exactly what we wanted, a name, but kept the rest hidden. Charles Webb died on Somerton Beach on December 1st, 1948. How? We don't know. Why? We don't know. What does the code mean? We don't know. But we know one thing. Some secrets stay buried forever. What does Charles Webb's story make you think? Do you think the code is real or a red herring? What did Jessica Thomson know? Share your thoughts in the comments. At Story Revolution, we illuminate history's darkest corners and tell unsolved mysteries. Don't forget to like and share. The next mystery is coming soon. This story is inspired by true events that took place in Australia in 1948.